Conscript might just be my new favourite survival horror game. Set during the harrowing days of World War I, Conscript places you in the role of Andre, a French soldier navigating the terror and brutality of the battlefield. As you search for your lost brother Pierre, the game immerses you in a desperate struggle to survive the relentless conflict. From the war-torn trenches to the pitch-black tunnels, Conscript captures that unforgiving nature of the Great War. The game confronts you with the sight of wounded soldiers writhing in pain, or those who simply cannot take the torment anymore. The ominous sounds of distant gunfire and artillery, and the dread-inducing echo of enemy footsteps. For most of the game, you're on your own, and survival depends on your wits and resourcefulness. Conscript's survival mechanics draw clear inspiration from the Resident Evil franchise, blending elements from both the classic games and modern iterations. The familiar key system, safe rooms where you can buy and sell items, storage spaces that magically appear everywhere, and of course saving your progress using a journal with ink pellets. The game employs an isometric camera perspective which not only showcases the grim realities in World War I, but also gives you a tactical advantage over German forces, allowing you to spot them before they notice you. However, Conscript's combat is far from easy. You can only attack while stationary, which leaves you vulnerable to enemy assaults, and this limitation just heightens the tension during ambushes as you cannot afford to stand still. Enemies will rush, swing, kick, or even shoot at you from a distance, leading to intense combat moments that leave you breathing a sigh of relief. It's one of the main reasons why I found myself saving so often in this game. Now, the combat comes more manageable once you've upgraded your weapons. The mysterious trade that you can find in the safe rooms offers upgrades using gun parts, which you can find scattered across the map or purchase with in-game currency, cigarettes. These weapon upgrades are crucial for survival. The extra stopping power can make all the difference, allowing you to fend off a couple of attackers before they get too close. By far my favourite weapon was the pump shotgun. When upgraded, this beast rips through the lower armoured enemies and manages to take down even the tougher, heavy-plated German soldiers in a couple of shell blasts. However, without upgrading the shotgun or even the pistol, I feel the pacing might have suffered, or the challenge could have felt slightly unfair. But as a counterpoint, given the availability of gun parts in the game, there's not really an excuse not to upgrade, unless you're a masochist and you like those particularly difficult challenge runs. Now, what really makes Conscript my new favourite survival horror game is its atmosphere. I touched base upon this at the beginning of the video, and I don't think I've played a game that captures the nature of World War I so vividly. The exceptional sound design immerses you in that grimy environment, from the sounds of your footsteps through muddy trenches to the clinking of boots of spent artillery shells and the distant rumble of ongoing battles. One particularly powerful moment is a cutscene where the French soldiers await the dreaded signal to go over the top. The build up to this moment is intense. Just minutes before this, you're tasked by your lieutenant to find deserters and force them back into the fight. If they refuse to fall in line, your orders are to shoot them. This brutal task, followed by the immediate order to charge into no man's land, highlights how awful and horrific this war was. This entire moment reminds me at the end of Blackadder Goes Forth, where all four boys have to go over the top. It's an emotional, powerful scene that has been captured in Conscript. It's amazing. Just before you do eventually go over the top, you're met with a cutscene that reveals a little bit more about the protagonist. Andre is cowering in fear whilst waiting for that signal, and the sense of despair just deepens as you begin to see his hands shaking from his POV, his eyes widening with terror, and as even in the distance, a deserter getting executed. It's such a great moment that evokes empathy. It just makes it so easy to imagine yourself in this truly awful situation, fearing for your life. And even when you do climb out of the trenches with the whistle blowing and the guns and explosions occurring, the sight of both allies and enemy soldiers just getting torn apart is just emotionally overwhelming. For a game I did not expect this much from, this was fantastic. It really drove home the chaos of World War I. The whole sequence is just an excellent demonstration of atmospheric storytelling. I think I've played AAA games that have not nailed an ambience or atmosphere like this before. This is an absolute standout moment in the game, and a standout moment for me this year. I have thoroughly enjoyed this, and the feeling of the emotion that brings out of you in this particular part was just stunningly executed. Another small aspect that I appreciated here in Conscript was the relief that I felt upon encountering other comrades. After long periods of surviving alone and fighting off the Germans, it does begin to feel a little bit lonely and very ominous. So when you do meet up with your comrades, whether it was just to receive new orders or even just to chat, seeing the friendly faces was always a welcome sight. And even if only one of them just wants cigarettes every single time you see him. I'm looking at you, Gaston. So overall, I am really impressed with this game, and I didn't anticipate having such a profound impact on me. Conscript is a shining example of how indie developers just get games right. This is how horror should be done. It doesn't need to rely on supernatural elements or those cheap jump scares. Instead, it forged its own unique brand of horror through the brutal realities of World War I. I think Conscript's outstanding. I highly recommend you check it out.